Hello, and welcome to day 4 of our new blog series based on the collection of short reflections called Candles in the Dark by Rowan Williams. Now, what immediately struck me as I began to read this book was how relatable it is to our personal situations, what's happening in New Creation, as well as other churches up and down the country, and I dare say worldwide. We have all faced so many challenges over this past year of lockdown, so many changes and new things to get to grips with, not least of all this new technology. But this has in so many ways unified us as we work together for a common goal, to stay connected, to keep up morale, and to stop the spread of COVID. Today's reflection is taken from April last year, and it's interesting how the tone has changed, even from the reflection that Ian looked at yesterday. At the very beginning of lockdown, people were almost excited at the novelty of taking time off from work, looking forward to the prospect of an extended holiday. Children suddenly didn't have to go to school and were enjoying their newfound freedom. Houses became neater than they had been in years as spring cleaning was undertaken in earnest, and gardens bloomed as people spent their outdoor time cultivating their lawns, growing plants and flowers. But a month or so into the first lockdown, and the novelty soon wore off. Numbers of cases were still high. Children and parents alike were struggling with homeschooling. Those who were put on furlough were beginning to worry about the future of their employment status, and those who were working were feeling zoomed out. Words like Zoom, TikTok, furlough, lockdown and social distance, words that we'd never had call to use before, were now well and truly embedded in the lexicon. A new world was upon us, but the future was looking very uncertain. A year on, and we're still in the same predicament. So much has changed, but also so little. The fears and anxieties for a very different future are still with us. But as Christians, we know that Jesus is with us through it all, both good and bad. And that is a great comfort in these turbulent times. This time last year, I admit I was very frustrated. My friends would message me on Facebook saying how their houses were spotless and they binge-watched everything on Netflix and didn't know what to do with themselves now. A TikTok craze of singing "I'm bored in a house and I'm in a house bored" was popping up on my feed every day. And I felt like screaming at my phone, "How have you got time to be bored?" We're trying to launch online church, getting out Easter packs, helping with COVID support in the communities, homeschooling and looking out for our neighbours. But now I realise my frustration was not at me having so much to do while others had so little, but really feeling a sense of sadness or loss for those who'd not taken full advantage of the opportunity that they'd been given. This time that we have been given is a gift. Yes, I and many others have kept very busy during this pandemic, and I feel incredibly blessed for that. It's been a privilege bringing church into your homes, and I'm sure I wouldn't be speaking out of turn to say that Matt, Howard and everyone else feels the same. So thank you for tuning in. But we have also had the gift of time with family, at home, online, and on the phone. Time we can never get back. Time is precious. Time is such a precious commodity, particularly in the busy world that we had been living in. Time for reflection, space to be alone in quiet contemplation, or time spent with God is never wasted. Yes, Yesterday, for Ash Wednesday, Matt looked at Jesus spending 40 days in the wilderness after his baptism. We always remember his temptation, but he was there primarily to take time to reflect before he started his ministry. This is one lesson that I have needed to learn. I'm always rushing around so busy, I sometimes forget to take time to stop and be still. I was told to invite God with me in whatever I was doing, so he is always with me in good times and bad. At doctor's appointments, walking the dog, even watching TV. Just a simple, "Would you like to watch this film with me, God?" Just to spend some quality time together. Time is precious. We want to spend it nurturing our relationships, and our relationship with God is no different. Sometimes it's nice to just sit together in the stillness. So if you find yourself at a loose end at any point during lockdown, take a few minutes to spend some quiet time with God, and he is always with you. The quote from today's reflection sums this up perfectly. In every moment, every encounter, in times of boredom, anger and anxiety, Jesus is with us, offering himself to us. Thank you. See you all again soon.